So I was browsing Netflix and I was trying to watch a show, and I happened to stop on this gaming documentary. And one episode really got me, and I feel like I had to share it with you guys. But haven't you heard this term before, made for a modern audience? You know, you've seen it in the Saints Row reboot. Certain games, if you read the description, they would say, like, especially remakes or reboots, they would say made for a modern audience. Now, I kind of wanted to address this because I've seen comments about why representation is good. I've seen videos about why representation is good. And I kind of wanted to address this because they never tell you why it's good. Why is representation good? Because I will give you my thoughts on this, but let's first go over the clips that I've seen on this documentary.
We're at the exact same place and have an opportunity to begin to play together. I'm black and I'm gay.
I'm black and gay. Those are the two things you do not want to hear in a game developer. Mostly the gay part, right? So, I mean, why must he tell you what he is, right? Why must he tell you he's black? Why must he tell you he's gay? Why couldn't he just be a developer? I just wanted to stop at this part because it was very funny. But these are the people that are making your games. Keep that in mind.
And when you grow up African American and gay, you're taught there's a different set of rules that you're gonna always have to play by.
Now, these set of rules that he brought up is interesting because I'm not unaware of these certain rules that he's talking about. Now, I don't specifically know what rules he's talking about, but I feel like the rules he's talking about specifically for black people are just normal rules. For example, if you were growing up, your mom would tell you, don't dress like a thug, or your dad would tell you, don't dress like a thug. That is a rule for blacks because most of the time that is the influence for blacks. So telling you certain rules are just for your benefit. I don't get these certain rules sound like you're a victim or something, but it's because that's usually the influence for most black kids is to dress this certain way or act this certain way. So your parents, if they raise you, correctly, will tell you do not do these things. So I actually don't know the specific rules he's going over, but these are the rules I've heard others talk about, and I kind of wanted to address that one.
Great experience with. Madden was the one I identified with. It actually changed my life.
Gordon Bellamy was so hooked on Madden football that it inspired him to chase after a career at Electronic Arts.
I had wanted all my life to design Madden football, to go out there and make the coolest games ever.
And so Gordon threw a Hail Mary.
I sent my resume in and did not get the response I expected. So I cold called every single person in the credits at their desk. Hello, I'm Gordon. Click. Dial next name. Hello, I'm an engineer from Harvard. Click. I called and called and called and called and called. A guy named Jim Simmons picked up the phone and gave me a shot at an entry-level interview to try to get in the games business. That's why I'm here.
So notice how he got the job. Not that his resume was good enough for the job, but by sheer determination, and I put that in quote, of calling every single whatever developer he could or publisher he could just to get the job. Did you notice how he got this job? Not that he's qualified. And mind you, he only played one game, which is Madden. And all of a sudden, he has to make Madden games, or he has to make games. Do you see the problem here? Now, mind you, when he gets to Madden, he's just going to implement everything he was feeling when he was little, right? He's going to implement, he didn't feel represented. He's going to implement that in the game, not focusing on what Madden was in the first place, the core thing that Madden was, which was fun gameplay for football. Not that it had a representation, that doesn't matter. It it was a fun game. So keep that in mind. But look how he got the job. He annoyed everyone until he got it. Now, come on.
That's why I'm here.
Gordon finally landed his dream job working on Madden, and he immediately set out to make a major change to EA's flagship game.
So back then, because of what the machines were capable of, the players all had to be one race. And back then, the majority of players in the NFL were African American. I had waited all my life to see players of color, to see a reflection of myself in game.
So you see what I mean? That statement right there, waiting for a reflection of myself. Now, look at the other thing he said also. Because of the limitation, all the characters had to be white. So why does that matter if there's a black guy there? You know, the real NFL has black athletes. It was mostly dominated by black athletes. Why would you get mad or sad that you weren't represented? But okay. But look at that key term. A reflection of myself. I do want to talk about that right there, because I've never, as a kid, when I played games, ever even thought of this a day in my life. I'm being 100%. I've never thought about, wow, what if Ratchet was black? Or what if Leon was black? You know what I mean? I've never sat there and thought about that. So for him to, like, what goes through your brain for you to want a character to look like you that bad? And for me, when I was playing those games, I seen them as heroes. Those cool characters we've played when we were little, I've seen them as heroes. Mario, I've seen as a hero. Leon, I've seen as a hero. I've never thought a day in my life, why couldn't Leon be black? I've never even thought about that. Oh, why couldn't Leon be Asian or something? No, Leon was just a cool character. And mind you, that's kind of what you wanted. You know, it's a fantasy. So you wanted a cool character. You wanted to play as a cool character, not as a representation of myself. Imagine if I never thought in my life, what if Jimmy was black? Because first of all, I relate to Jimmy 10 times more than half of these black characters that they're bringing now. But I've never thought, why couldn't Jimmy be black? Or I've never, gotten sad and be like, oh, why couldn't Jimmy be a black character?
So in 95, we put African Americans in the game, and it was provocative because people had never seen black people on the back of a major sports game. It just hadn't. It was a new thing. For marginalized people, a lot of energy is devoted to justifying your existence in spaces. So when you see yourself placed as default, it has real meaning. It matters.
For Gordon Bellamy, Madden leveled the playing field.
You see what I mean? He didn't give an actual explanation of why it mattered. It just matters. You can't generalize and just say that. You can't just say, oh, it just matters. It means something. I don't know what it means. What does it mean? Now, I know I said a lot of what I thought about that previous video, but here's the real reason why representation and inclusivity does not even matter. Or does not even matter. Not needed at all. If games are going in this direction because of ESG or BlackRock or for this inclusivity and diversity thing, then shut this down entirely. Don't do this diversity anymore. Don't do this inclusivity thing anymore. I'm all for it if games can go back to how it used to be. Just shut it down. Don't do this crap anymore. But I know that's not where we're going, right? So why is it not needed or wanted? Well, that's because representation doesn't make games good. Representation doesn't make games fun. Representation doesn't make a good open world or a good immersive story. It does not. It does not. Look at any of these modern games that have representation in them. It doesn't add. In fact, it minuses. It makes it worse because nobody want to see their actual self in the game. It's a fantasy. I want to play as someone cool. When I usually play an RPG, most of the time I don't make a character that looks like me. That's because I want to play as another character. I want to have fun as another character, as someone else, not me, even though it's literally me, if you know what I mean. But representation doesn't add or do anything good towards game. Doesn't make a good open world. Doesn't have good combats, mechanics. It doesn't add anything to core gaming. It doesn't add to it. So if that's what you're focusing on, that's what you're caring about, then of course games are going to be the way it is now. It's gonna have forced female bosses, forced diversity, annoying characters that everybody will hate. Well, maybe not everybody, but we will hate and not want. So keep that in mind. Mind you, there were already good characters back then that were not white, that were other colors. For example, remember Sheva? Maybe you don't remember her for her being black, but you remember her for being a looker, right? I remember Lee from The Walking Dead, as I stated before. That was a good character, well written. Remember Hammond from Dead Space? Of course you don't, because black characters have to be main characters. No, Hammond was a good character in Dead Space, and he's memorable, at least to me and many others. Why? Because he was well written and he wasn't forced. Nobody really thought, oh crap, there goes Hammond again being annoying. No. You remember Adwele from Assassin's Creed's Black Flag? Of course you don't. He has to be the main character to you, but you know what I mean? So there are several characters that were written well that, were black or other colors. I'm probably not thinking of the Asian ones and Indian ones, I'm not sure, but I'm not thinking of them, that were written well that, were good. But now we have several characters now that are annoying. Think of it this way. You have less characters back then that were written well, and many now that are terrible. Think of it that way. Quality over quantity. Even if we only had one black character ever, but he was written well, that's way better than 20 that are terrible. So think of it that way. So yeah, that's about it for the video. You guys let me know what you think about representation. Maybe I missed something. You explain yourself in the comments. I'll see if I can read it. If you haven't seen the community post, I am not home. That's why I am not live streaming or uploading regularly, or at least frequently. And also, I don't think I will be able to play Suicide Squad. Or even if I do, I don't think I will be able to review it in time. Which I don't know if I will review it now, given the situation. So I don't know. That's that right there. I am working on a couple of videos. They are pretty long, not like 3 hours or 2 hours. They're about probably 45, maybe an hour. It's probably an hour. But they are pretty long. And yeah, you guys let me know what you think. That's about it.